Okay, so last week, we had a demo, not about data, what I think, but about migration, refactoring, interesting discussions. We talked about 1.6 to be released, and then today for 2023, we will have demos for sure, right?
Yeah, I will have a demo. Yes.
Thank you.
And I sent it to the chat that the demo will be using fake video capture source in Lombik UI testing toolbox. But I sent it by chat.
Then we will have topics. 6.
I want to talk about some possible issue in YesSQL. I'm not sure yet.
No.
Also, I have a demo, Sebastian.
And Victoria.
Yeah. Yes, I just would like to say a few words about the harvest. I also posted it on GitHub. I will send the link in the chat, so we will be able to open it when it's my turn.
Well, it will depend on Joseph and Isham. We can fight with Joseph. Isham, I'm not sure we can fight with him. So status. One new. Yes. The core feature name and everything. We have updated the AWS. We have fixed the background task description and minor refactoring. Then we merged upon PR for the Internet framework, Super ID issue from Mike, the dependencies, and then we merged the 1.6 branch onto main because we shipped 1.6, or at least we tried to. That's it, not much. But not much triage also on Thursday this last week because of 1.6 and translation issues. So that explains. Status. That's it with the status? Okay, good. So let's continue on 1.6 then, because now it's shipped. It's shipped. Yeah, advanced, but it was main. You get 1.6. So you see it's 1.6. There were some issues, lots of issues. Every day I had a new issue with that publication. So on Thursday, we merged 1.6 branch and we started a release, but someone pinged me on Friday saying it didn't work. PT release. So some packages were not published correctly, like this one. Also localization abstractions, blah, blah. And I looked at the log and I assumed that it was because of the search package that was failing. And it was the same issue as the one we had with translations a few weeks ago when we tried to publish a new translation package. It didn't work. I had to upload it manually in my account. So same issue, like 4.3 API key not valid or whatever because it's a new package, but the API key was configured to support a new package. And I realized that the API key was created for the Orchard organization, because you see here, all our packages, they have two owners. Myself, because I was the one who was publishing the packages. And then we created an orchard organization that contains people. And this way we can change who is an admin for these organizations. So in this case, you can see I'm authenticated. You can see that I am Zoltan and Benedek. Okay, and we can add more people. Benedek apparently doesn't want to be in the organization. We invited him now a year ago, but still. But at least there is Zoltan and myself. So if one dies, the other one can take over. That's correct. And then we can add more people. And so you see here two owners. And the issue was that for the search module, was that what was that? Yes, so we have a prefix wizard, meaning nobody can upload anything under Orchard Core but ourselves. And when I say ourselves, it was actually me, because I created the prefix and they assigned it to me before there was the Orchard Core. So when we try to create a new package, Orchard Search, it failed because the API key was created for the Orchard organization, which didn't have access to the prefix Orchard Core. So it could not create new things. I don't know how I found that. Yes, I found out when I was looking at the issue there, trying to see all the options that would be the reason. So then I asked the NuGet team to add Orchard as an owner for the prefix. There is no UI for that. You have to ask the support to do that. They did it this morning. And I asked on Friday, but they did it this morning. So in the meantime, to unblock, I created an API key under Sebastian Ross again, and I published again. Okay. And I published again, but it failed because it failed for another reason. Yes, because when I created the API key, I forgot to add some packages to the API key, like the themes here. Because these ones, they are not under Orchard Core something. And when I created the API key, I created using a globbing a pattern, and I said Orchard Core star to just allow this new API key to be able to upload everything on Orchard Core star. But I forgot that some of our packages are not under Orchard Core star. So the publication after I created the API key here failed. And then I realized that I fixed that, but in the meantime, the NuGet team added Orchard as the owner of the prefix also. So I recreated a new API key for Orchard this morning, and I published again. And it failed again for some packages. I'm like, what's happening? And so I asked them, the support, to see what was happening, and they said, oh, it's because the package you are trying to push here is owned by Sebastian Ross. So you can't update it with the Orchard account because the Orchard account doesn't own the package. So I went over the few 10 packages that were not owned by Orchard, but just by myself. And I fixed it. And then I published again. And now everything worked. It's not easy. And hopefully next time it will be much easier. So the release 1.6 that we started on Thursday, but I tried again like 7 times. It should show up in the number somewhere. Like it's number 7 or 8. Now everything is green and everything was published correctly. So the history is lost because I rerun the same step again, but this one was failing all the time. So it was a pain. So all done, everything is published. Something that we should do, however, if we can, if we are crazy, might be an issue, but I'd love to have these projects renamed. The package names, at least. Yeah, package/project, the features can do the same name, but to have to be under Orchard Core. Because it's a pain when we create an API, we have to select manually each of them. And I forgot safe mode, for instance. I saw the admin, the agency, debug, and so on because they were ordered alphabetically, but safe mode I forgot, and then it failed again. I had to do it again. So you should have the same name conventions for everything, even for themes. Good. Ideally, I could also remove myself as an owner, just choose the org because I'm part of the org also. Maybe there was no org. No, we didn't have an org. Only there was no org on NuGet at the time we created it. It was the very beginning of org NuGet. But now there is an org. That's good. So that is done. 1.6 is released. Something we did also is on Thursday we tried the templates and we found an issue actually in the templates. No, we found an issue, but it wasn't just an issue, a local issue. So it was fine. But what was interesting is that we documented what was that? The steps to test the templates. From building to releasing the local packages in a local folder as a local feed, then adding, so installing the local templates from the local folder, then adding the local feed, the local folder as a feed for NuGet Restore, and then running it. So we should document it for the next release, and ideally it should be added to the release pipeline or to some workflow that we can test that the templates actually work. Maybe just on every build that we don't break the templates for the expected targets, because it can happen a lot and it's painful after to fix it. So that's it for 1.6. Demos. Was there first? Remember, Hisham is after you.
Yes,
And then
I can start.
Whenever you want.
Yes, I can start.
Please.
Okay, let me share my screen. And I will demo, as I said, using fake video capture source in the Lombic UI testing toolbox. This feature is currently only available for Chrome browser using this command line switch, and you can use motion JPEG or, for example, Y4M video files to use as a fake video capture source. Before the demo of this automated test, I will show a small, I hope you can see my browser, a small virtual business card service, which is the front end is Vue.js application, and the backend is, of course, an Orchard core instance, and the application is currently simple virtual business card. So if you show the QR code, then the backend responds with a content item, which is a business card. So yes, and you can find this sample, and I just send it chat. Yeah, under the Lombic Vue.js module samples folder, and let's see how it is working in the automated way. So we have a test called QR card scan should work async. You can start it from the Test Explorer, but before I just want to show some configuration about this to utilize this fake video capture source. So here is a configure fake video source extension method for the browser configuration class, and here you can specify the media files you can use as a fake video source. This in this case, this video files are embedded resources, and it's a part of the. They are a part of the UI test project. So simple load it from the resources and set the type of the video file, and let's start the test. It will take some time because before we should set up an virtual instance. So until that, I will show you the test itself. It's really simple, just navigate overnighting. Okay, so it's simple, navigates to the config action where this small Vue.js application we start, and then waits for a card, which is the card owner is John Doe. So let's see. You can see this is a fake video source. It's my hand from recording, and after in this case the server responds with the correct business card. The test is passing. So this is how we can use this features, this COM feature, to test not just QR code or barcode scanning, but you can use this to test anything when you receive information from the user or the environment over video stream. So I think it's a very useful feature of the Chrome browser, and that was my demo.
Thank you. That's interesting. I can see lots of usage of that. I didn't think about that. It's interesting.
Thank you.
So
I think so.
So, but because there are many things here, there is a video capture, there is a video, but the fact that you can scan a QR code from the camera, which makes sense, doesn't seem that surprising, but and the fact that you are mocking the video also is a fake video.
Yes, it's a fake video.
Okay. And so if you have Orchard running on a website, and so it's independent from Orchard actually, but if you have these camera capture and you open the application from your phone, you go on the website and you can scan something. So you can use your phone to the web app to scan.
Yes, I can use this application on my mobile phone as well. Yes, this feature is developed for a production app where Then is running on a mobile phone, and they scanning with this video. So yeah, this is a real life example, I can say, and real life usage.
Okay, so, yeah. Interesting. And it worked well on your demo, like when you have your video feed, you just showed the QR code and it found it like magic. Like when I go to the theater, it's like it's hard to have them scan my thing. So that was really to see that working so well. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure at some point we'll replace barcodes with QR codes. Seems to work better. Isham, next.
Yes, let me share my screen. Just a second. Did you see my screen?
Do see your screen.
Okay. Last week, I showed you a demo about the data migration prototype that I created to separate the migration into multiple files. And I got a great feedback. And today, I'll just show you a migration UI, data migration UI, which allow us to manage the migration from the user interface. And one more
But
thing.
can you scan barcodes or QR codes with this UI? No.
No. If we look to this migration, this one. Let me first open the Orchard Core one. This one. I think we know this one, the users from the user module, and we talked that on every version we create a new update method. And there's a feedback that somebody may prefer to run one big migration on each version of Orchard, for example. For that, I introduced a way here that you can skip a migration. For example, if I have 5 migrations or 4 migration, maybe whenever I want to release a migration, release a version, I can skip the previous 3 and just put all the code in the last migration. This is just optional. But what I want to show you here, which is very important, is the data migration UI. Let me go to the features and the data migration UI. When you enable this feature, there will be a menu item here that will scan and discover all the migration from the enabled features. For example, if I go to the Google Maps, which has single migration, I think, and come back again, it will show up here. So it will show there is a one migration for the Google Maps, which is already migrated, and you can roll back from here, and the migrate button offshore, it is disabled. So I created a bunch of migration for Gravatar as example. There is one already applied and one should be skipped, and there are 2 not applied yet. Now, when I click migrate from here, the migration will be applied, and if I check the migration here, if you remember last time I created a new record, but this time I try to integrate with the data migration, Orchard data migration. So if I zoom this one, you will notice there is a new migration. Migration 3 is applied from the Gravatar module. Same thing when I apply the fourth one, it will be applied. And when I refresh this record again, there will be the migration 4 has been applied. Same as the migrate, you can roll back whenever you want. For example, I want to roll back to this one or this one, for example, to this one. It will roll back to all the selected migration. That is about the data migration UI, just a simple way to clean up what the migration did in the database. And that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, this is one demo. I have another demo if there is a time, or otherwise
Yes,
I
but
will.
is it
Okay.
related to migration? Because I will have questions, comments.
Yes.
Yes, it is related.
No. The next demo. No. Sorry, I misunderstood. No, it
Okay,
is
so I can
not
ask
related.
my questions now
Okay.
because
Okay.
to keep on the topic. So
Okay.
I like the UI, and I think it's interesting to have it per feature because that makes sense to go back per feature. However, it can't work. It just works for the demo, but it doesn't work for your feature because you can't roll back migrations like this or go up migrations like this. It's not on demand because the code of the feature, when it's enabled, is meant for specific migration to be executed. Like if I have the code right now of a feature, it has to be run for migration 4. It might work by chance, but most of our features, they won't work unless migration 4 has been executed successfully, because the code itself will read stuff in a column or in a field that has been created by migration 4 in most cases, or that's what it expects. So if you were to roll back to migration 2, then maybe the rollback will work, but the code is still expecting migration 4. And then the website will fail because the table is not here, the column is not here, the data is not here, or whatever. So rollback would mean, so I don't know how it can work in a real world.
I think it works for him because he changed the migration to up and down.
Yes, exactly.
Now with our migrations, it won't work.
No,
Yes.
I'm not saying that. But I agree. I understand what you say, and I still will say the same statement. It can't work. It works if your demo has no code that depends on the latest migration. That's the case with your demo because that's the demo. That's a demo to show a feature that can't work with actual modules. Like today, I release take any module from Orchard with more than 2 migrations, and you will see that the latest migration creates some data that is used by the latest code. And when I say latest code, the
Yes.
only version of the code, which is the live code. Here,
Yes.
look at that. You see?
Yes.
So this one is just creating an index. But if you take one that is creating a column, for instance, you can't revert previously to this migration because it means there is no more column. So what is the code doing now that it's expecting a column? It will fail. The SQL statement will fail because the column doesn't exist anymore. But the SQL statement in the C# code is still there expecting the column. So the feature will fail and maybe the site will completely be broken because the feature is enabled, but the database doesn't match the feature. Mike, up, down still makes sense, right? It's still the same issue because you go down, down, down. Yes, you drop the colon, but the code itself is expecting a colon because the code is expecting the migration 4 to be executed.
Maybe if you go to a page that requires this field, yes, it will fail. But I find this may be suitable for certain scenarios like cleanup. For example,
Yes, I agree. If you want to disable a feature, then do the reverting the migrations, and not just from 1, 2, 3 migration, but everything, because I don't see, when you delete the feature, I don't see the point of reverting to the middle step of the migrations. You just want, okay, like delete everything. So undo all the migrations. That's fine, but that's not when the feature is running.
Yep, I got it.
Okay, so then I will agree to see, and maybe you had it already last time, for each feature to disable and also to disable and clean.
Yeah,
and that will make sense. So this UI is nice because it's interesting that you can go back and forth because you have up, down, and that's nice, but that's completely, you will not have it in a Notion website because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's just for demo. Okay.
You know, another thought, the issue you mentioned, Sebastian, is great point. I think it's usually when you're dropping or altering table. But if you're trying to migrate to update definition of a content item, you could still have a steps where you can say, hey, migrate step 3 or 4 manually, like, hey, skip this.
Yep.
So if that might be a solution where we can say, well, if you want to create a table, maybe we'll have, or maybe we need to find a better way to migrate tables. Maybe we'll have a table that allow us to migrate, like alter or create table, another migration type for migrating content type. So like a soft migration. Soft migration probably wouldn't want to break or shouldn't break anything if you're only updating content items. So maybe one way to kind of to get a medium ground is to have like a hard migration and a soft migration, where soft migration really are only for updating data or data definition. So it's never going to impact the actual, like it's not going to cause a breaking change. But a hard migration, like creating an index or altering an index, that one would cause a migration. So that one, maybe you can't really use the UI for it. You know what I mean? So if we have a way to split the two, that could make sense, but we would need to probably add some sort of dependencies where the hard migrations are done before the soft migrations or something like that.
And so hard migrations like Kohli, it's what I call migrations today. This is what we have. These are hard migrations. Okay, they can
Correct.
do table and things. And the soft migrations, we use the migrations to do that too, because they provide a way to do stuff before the feature is enabled, and like upgrading content, changing data, whatever makes sense. We don't have to, but we don't have like step by step for sure, like we do for migrations. But in Orchard One, we did that a few times. We called them updates to update the data. Like at one point, we changed the way we stored content items, and to go to this version, you had to go to the UI to enable the features and everything. But then you had to click on update, and there was a step called update all content items for Orchard 1.6, for instance. And it would take all the data from the database using Ajax calls to do paging, and it will go over every content item. And it could fail in the middle, and you could continue later because there was a cursor to do that. So that was totally fine. That's how we did that. We had custom upgrades steps or features in the tool, such that if you were on Orchard 1.5 and you were to go to Orchard 1.6, you would have to go to the, oh, let's upgrade to Orchard 1.6, and it will take all your data from 1.5, move it to data from 1.6. So we didn't use migration for these things that didn't fit in migration. We used something else. So far, all our things, we were able to integrate it in migration or provide SQL scripts to run out of the thing, but we could have stuff that runs automatically and that is less from a migration. I agree. But why would, yeah, but we don't split it because we don't have the requirement of going back today.
Yes.
Or just, that's why we didn't do that. Yeah, I still think the only thing I see interesting here is to be able to clean fully the feature.
Yeah. Yes.
I diverge from your comment, Mark, but yeah, I see what you mean. It's just today we haven't had the necessity to split the two of them or to run something out of the migration. If we were to run something out of the migration to update content in a soft way, I don't think we should have another feature. We can just, maybe it's not about feature, but more about a consistent way to do that. So like a guidance and like we did in Orchard 1. We had something in configuration to say, hey, we know that we are on 1.6, but you could run that before to upgrade your data from 1.5 because it will be required to clean stuff, to remove all the parts, to whatever, to change the schema of JSON documents, because otherwise you won't see the data because it's somewhere else now, things like that. Cool. So you made progress on the feedback. Up, down. So you have skip. I will go further than skip, but more like jump. Like
Yes.
If you're on migration 1, instead of skip, you could say jump to migration 4 because you don't need me. You don't need 1, 2, 3. You can go directly to 4.
Yeah. Yes.
That might be a better way. Instead of skip through, say jump, because maybe from 1, and this way you will have the same thing as we have today. The return 4. Here is jump, skip to migration 4. That's even better. Or next, or maybe you could have the same chain in your attributes like the next previous. And this way, so what's interesting is that if you have a next, then after migration 1, the next you can say is migration 2, next is migration 3, and you can give it the name you want. It doesn't have to be numbered. It can be a nice name. And with the previous, like the next, you could say that if you're on migration 4 and you do a down, then the previous could be nothing, because maybe the down of migration 4 just deletes everything because it knows it can delete everything. It doesn't have to run the down from 3 because it knows everything that is there when you are at 4. So you can say, oh, just delete the table. You don't need to run the 3 because it will just do the same thing. So that might be interesting to have a previous being nothing. So if you do down from migration 4, then it says, oh, when I'm done with migration 4 down, you don't need to do anything more. It deleted the table. You don't need to run migration 3 down. It's not down in this case. It's clean, uninstall, whatever.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
But I saw there are many systems, maybe they like to keep the versioning for the migration instead of like what we did in Orchard. We put the latest in the create and then we call the last update. But it depends.
Oh, and it can be the same name also. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it could be the same name. No, I think it's fine to have different classes with the same name, one by one. Instead of having 11 methods, you have 11 classes. And the first one can just say skip everything, or the first one can just say skip all or skip to nothing, because it will just be creating from nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
The first class could be called create. And then the second one could be called update from whatever. No, you need to be able to run one thing and be done. You should not have to rely on 11 different methods or 11 different classes. If you can do it in one shot, then do it in one shot because it's faster and it's less trouble than all these steps. I don't know how EF does that. When you run migrations, you have to go through all the migrations, all the updates every time, even when you restart. Or they don't restart, it's just assuming.
They keep track of the latest applied migrations.
But when you have 10 methods, 10 classes,
Yes.
and imagine your database is empty, does it run the 10 classes?
Yes, because they will ask for the history, migration history or history migration table, and will check if there is an already applied migration. If not, it will run all the migration, the available migration.
That's bad. Why?
And
why do they need? Well, why don't they do just a method that says you have nothing? Let's create the table like it should be in one shot. Okay, but that's a choice. But I mean, no, I don't understand why you don't do it.
Yes, because as I said, it is a matter of choice because some bodies like the versioning of the history of the database. We did something in this date, we did something in this date, and so on. But at the end, the result is the same.
In our case, we keep it. We still have the 10 versions, the 10 steps that do that. It's just that when we see that it's the first time, then there is no from an existing state. We can go directly to the last state. That's just an optimization. I think it's nice. So I like the way we do that in Orchard, just for that. As long as we can skip everything, I think we should keep it.
Okay.
Okay, all good. Thank you.
Also, this is maybe
there is a new thing.
Useful for the development, I think, when you in development environment. And the rollback, a good choice, I think, when we uninstalled the feature, it will run the rollback automatically behind the scenes.
For me, that's the best point is rolling back everything, like clean the feature. That's why to see the button disable and clean in the features page, I think it's much more important.
Okay.
Even in development, you can also say, okay, I just disable and roll back, and then you do your change, and you're like, okay, let's re-enable the feature now. That would be super useful.
Okay.
So yeah, the second demo.
Okay. The second demo, where is it? It is about.
And why do you have an abp.io website open when you do an Orchard demo? You're not allowed to do that.
Which one?
And also PHP. What?
No, okay, just okay. Leave. Okay. The second demo is about the health checks. I think we already talked about the health checks a while ago. There are few improvement here. If I go to the one of the tenant, last time we remember if the health checks feature is enabled, you should probably see something like this if the tenant is healthy or not. Now you can, I will go to the features, for example, for the blog. There is a feature called Health Checks UI. When you enable it, sorry, I dislike this one. Okay. Blog and go for the Health UI. There should be nice UI, better than the JSON or healthy unhealthy show-ups. Same thing for agency, and we'll see.
It's running the migrations.
I think delay for 2 reasons, because it checks, yes, this one. This is built. Okay, this is the blog. It shows the health checks for the available health check services that are registered in that tenant. For this tenant, there is a Redis health check and send health check. Same thing here. And if I go to the command line, go to the open to, and I just start the Redis server.
I'm not even using Docker, so disappointing.
Okay. I just did it a while ago. Okay, now you will see that the Redis health checks are healthy. Same for here. Okay, the one last thing. In the default tenant, when you go to health UI, same thing, it will give you the health checks for the current default tenant, but also there is another option that allow you to see the health check across all the available tenants, for example, the blog, agency, and it will give you like an indication here if there is something action should be taken, or there is a service or database drop it. For example, let me do one last thing. For example, here, if I go to the agency, app data, sites, agency, and open the app settings for the agency and change the database just to simulate that there is something happened to the connection. And now when you check, if you notice here, the database is okay, but when I run, there's a problem here, and you will, when you go to the show, it will show you that there's a problem in the agency tenant, because the tenant cannot connect to the related database. I think that's it. It is just a simple UI to display or to show all the available health checks, which is quite useful, I think.
Right. I will see a different color here because you see the agency is all gray, but it can actually can't start, so it should be a like
yes,
up down something like that. It's down completely.
Because I think there is a problem here. Also, I pinged Mike yesterday or today. There is an issue when the database is, when the tenant unable to connect to the database. I think you can get the scope for a particular tenant. So for that reason,
yeah, it doesn't restart, so it's not there. So yeah, maybe a different code. That's okay. That's great already. I like to see it on .nest and have that seeing like when there are tens of tenants just to see what it looks like. Yeah. Pretty sure this UI is not adapted when you have lots of tenants. It needs paging and because you can't run it. Yeah, but that's great already. That's super useful.
It was on the same page, but I decided at the end for the sake of the demo to put it in the bottom. Okay, that's it. And sorry for.
Good job.
Okay, thank you.
What did I say? Yes, you should use Docker. That will make your life so much easier.
Yeah, but I remember from many years there's a little tiny surface to run the Redis.
I mean, that's so easy, much easier. You don't have to install anything. Just say run Redis, stop Redis, done.
Yeah,
That's so much easier. I do that also for the databases like Postgres and everything that can run on Docker. I run it on Docker. So you should do that.
yep. Thank
And then I have another comment. Oh, do you know why you see the notification twice when you enable a feature?
Yes, this is, I just noticed that few hours ago. I'm not sure why.
So is it your own setup or is it in Orchard? Is it a bug in Orchard?
I'm not sure.
Okay, have to check that. That's weird.
Okay, thank you.
We did some changes on notifications, so maybe.
I will check. Okay, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Victoria.
Yes, I'm here.
Your turn.
Do
Do you want me to open the issue and share it?
Can you open it?
I can. You share the link. I can share it if you want.
Yeah, I already shared it, but I will copy
No,
it
share on
again.
the screen. I meant. Okay. Just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just a quick mention about this post. So we chose the 31st of May for the online Orchard Harvest conference, and I hope that most of you... Oh, sorry.
It's just Mike or someone who. No, it may be Sham. That's okay.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Okay, so I hope that most of you could join us, and also we would really welcome presentations as well. Both of the links are available in this post on GitHub. So I just wanted to mention this, and I hope that you will join us.
That's a Wednesday. I checked.
Yeah, I actually checked on Google that Wednesday or Thursday are the common days for having an online conference, and also I know that on Thursday there are another Orchard meetings, so I didn't want to organize on that day.
Oh, UTC. Okay.
Yeah. It's really hard to find.
Isham, what's your issue with 13 UTC? That should be fine, right? For you.
I think it is.
UTC, it's like London time. So you must be like 3 hours later than that, maybe. Two, I'd say. What time is it in Yemen?
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Oh, it's late. Oh, wait. No, it's just 1 hour. It's just what? Oh,
2.
yeah, it's just 2 more than UTC, I think.
Yes.
For Isham. So yeah, Isham is good for you.
Yes. Yes.
Stop complaining.
For us, it's going to be 6 a.m.
I'd be late.
Yeah, we will organize speakers.
No, actually, I was wondering when I saw Isham sharing his. Oh, it was actually Joseph sharing his screen. I saw that it was like 29 something. And I'm like, whenever I go to France and there is an Orchard meeting and it's also after 9 p.m., I'm like, it's too late. I'm having dinner at the time. We should change this time and make it earlier. sometimes. I
Yeah.
no, right? Because most of you, well, there is Mike and myself from the US. All the other ones, they are from Europe. So I think we should do it earlier for you, so you don't have to do it at 9. Mike, I don't
Yeah.
know what you think, but I think it's we could do it earlier, and then I don't know, Mike. I know that the 10 a.m.s we do in Thursday are fine for me. I could even do a 9 a.m. maybe, but 10 is fine for
Right.
me. So 2 hours earlier. I'm not sure for the other people here in the room if 2 hours earlier would be better for you. Maybe.
I mean, we need to do it based on how many people. I mean, if there's more Europeans, then we should use their time.
Yes.
What's convenient for most.
Exactly.
Well, that is convenient and not doable. Like it's convenient for them that we do it at 2 a.m. for us, but it's not at all for us, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
so
but
some,
you know,
a
two people
middle
not to
ground,
join
yes.
is
A
better
middle ground.
than 15
Like today
not to,
it's painful for them at 9. Let's make it painful, a little bit more painful for us and less painful for them.
Or we can do a PR competition. You know, whoever submits the most PR,
Exactly.
and then
Decides
we'll
what the
take
time
their.
is. So people in the room, if we made the meeting at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, will it be better for you? Because it would be 7 p.m. Maybe that's worse for you because it's between 2 more things and it's not good. So, no, that will make 6. So 2, no, that would make 7 to 8 instead of 9 to 10. Think about it, and maybe we can do it even like 9 a.m. for Mark and I, which would mean 6 to 7 for you. So think about it and give some feedback, okay? In this chat or anywhere. And it's recorded, so people can also comment after that. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks, everyone. No other questions, comments, topics?
I had a topic that you overlooked, but
Did
if
I?
you're not busy, if you're busy, it's all good.
Wait, let me check my OneNote.
You just don't
Oh,
want to
yes,
talk about
I
ESC.
see. Okay, I forgot. Okay, shoot.
There's a remember that one time I actually put it in the chat. We had an issue with a distinct, and we removed it because group by provided better performance. Remember that
Yep.
issue?
Yep, and
Okay.
I refixed it.
Yes. So that actually works great, but I think it's causing an issue because we are grouping by modify UTC. Sometimes you have records that are created in bulk. They have the same exact time, the modify UTC. So if you have, let's say, 30 records that you created using a recipe with the same exact timestamp, it will break, or it's very possible to break pagination. Actually, it did.
Okay.
Because of that. So I think one thing to do is to order by UTC, comma, ID. So at the end, we always also group by ID
But
because
group by ID. I have to check, to make it unique. Okay, that's it's an PR. If the PR works, then
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have to see.
You don't know how to do that?
No, I know how to do that. I just haven't really messed with that query or where that query generated. So I have to see what generates that query.
Say you don't know how to do that, I know you can do a PR. But sometimes I say that because you don't know how to do that in SQL, like because you don't know the code base. That's what I mean. You don't know the.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to, dig in the code.
The best way is to look at what I did in the PR that fixed the thing. When did I work on that thing? This one.
See, I think I have it. Oh, PR 432. PR 432. I just don't know if that modified UTC, that's something in YesSQL or is it something in Orchard Core? It might be Orchard Core actually.
Yes, because I don't have a modified UTC in SQL.
Yeah, so it's something might be in Orchard
I see
Core
what
where
you
we
mean.
have to.
Okay, so yeah, because I don't have that, and yeah, so the SQL doesn't know about modified UTC. It's doing weird things, but nope. Okay, yeah, check that. Yes, that's here then. Okay, so good news. There is no issue with SQL. Well, I know there are issues, but I haven't looked at them. I see people commenting that. Haven't had time. Nicely done on time. Thanks everyone. See you on Thursday at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Redmond time. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.